Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever video. Today we're going to discuss the Gerrard-Lampard Scholes debate. Me personally, I don't even know why Lampard and Scholes are in the same sentence as Steven Gerrard, and today this comparison ends. Gerrard gets a lot of hate online and people disrespect his legacy, like they start crazy comparisons. Today I'm going to show you why Gerrard is the best midfielder in Premier League history, even though he never won it. So let's immediately address the elephant in the room. I know Gerrard slipped and I know he never won the Premier League. I don't need you to remind me. I'm a Liverpool fan. I've been through this, so I know he's never won the league. But that doesn't change the fact that he still is the best Premier League midfielder in history. And I'm going to show you why. Now, first of all, you can't compare individuals using team trophies. This is football. This is not tennis. This is not boxing. You don't control your own destiny on the pitch. You have 10 other players with you. So Gerrard wasn't playing 1 versus 11. It's not like in a UFC ring or something where you control your own destiny or like what you get. This is a team sport. So when I compare individuals, I like to look at individual awards instead of looking at the team accomplishments. And even though if we want to look at team accomplishments, it's not like Gerrard won nothing. He won everything except the Premier League. So it's not like he won absolutely nothing. He won plenty of trophies with his team, but the only thing he didn't win is the Premier League. Anyway, let's compare individual trophies, and I'm going to start with the Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or is probably the most prestigious individual award in terms of football, and Gerrard finished third, Lampard finished second, and Paul Scholes never even got top 50 votes. Now, just so people watching this realize something, getting top 50 votes for Ballon d'Or isn't really that special. Like, Wijnaldum has got top 50 votes. Somehow, I'm supposed to believe someone who never got a top 50 vote for the Ballon d'Or is somehow the best midfielder in Premier League history. But anyway, we move on. Now, the record holder for the PFA Team of the Season appearances is Gerrard. He has 8 appearances, Lampard has 5, Scholes has 2. Now, the PFA Team of the Season is basically where your fellow footballers vote for you to be like in the best 11 of the Premier League that season, and Gerrard is the record holder. So, like, it's not even Rooney, it's not Van Nistelrooy, it's not Aguero, it's not Alan Shearer. The holder is Steven Gerrard. He has been in the most PFA Team of the Season teams ever in Premier League history. Now let's look at another thing. Let's look at FIFA World XI. Now FIFA World XI is very interesting because it basically means you are part, like, 1 of 11 of the best team in the world that season. Now Gerrard made that 3 times, Lampard made it once, and Scholes made it 0 times. Now, making the World XI for an English player, I feel like is harder because English players get like sort of reverse bias outside England. I feel like English players are a bit hated or like disliked by outside media. Media outside England don't really like English players that much. So the fact that you make it 3 times is by itself already like really good. And anyway, Lampard made it once and Scholes never made it. So yeah, and they made the Champions League all-time XI recently. And this Champions League all-time XI had players like Messi, Ronaldo, Henry, Xavi, Iniesta, Piqué, Ramos. So it had legends of the Champions League. This is the Champions League all-time XI, which started in 1992. And Gerrard was in that team. Now, for you to be put in a team, an all-time Champions League XI, next to Xavi and Iniesta, and in a team that contains Ronaldo, Messi, Henry, Ramos, Casillas, absolute legends of football, I think that by itself is such a rewarding accomplishment. One more individual trophy we can talk about is the Ballon d'Or Dream XI. Recently, Ballon d'Or came out with Dream XI is basically making a team for all the ages, like historic players like Pele, Maradona, whoever. Gerrard was nominated. He was nominated for the defensive midfielder position. Lampard wasn't nominated and Scholes wasn't nominated. Gerrard was nominated with names like Bobby Charlton, who are absolute like historic legends of football. When you put Gerrard in the same sentence as Bobby Charlton or historic players of football, you can't come back to me and say, oh, Lampard's better or Scholes is better because they won the league. No, this is not boxing. This is not tennis. This is a team game. We can't compare an individual using team trophies because it differs who you're playing with. Like, I can't compare a United player to a Bournemouth player and be like, oh yeah, but the United player won trophies. Obviously, because he plays for United and the other guy plays for Bournemouth, so he's not gonna win the trophies. So basically, when you look at them collectively in terms of like individual trophies, Gerrard has won the most individual trophies, and there are a few other things. Like, I've wrote a list down. There are a few other things I haven't even read, like Player of the Month, England Player of the Season, etc. Gerrard is basically the top of the list of every single individual achievement possible for a footballer in terms of comparing these three. Now, I think personally, if I'm being honest, like, you might ask yourself, is there something Scholes does better than Gerrard, and is there something Lampard does better than Gerrard? And obviously the answer is yes, because I'm not biased. I just say it as it is. The series is gonna be say it with your chest, so I'm just gonna say stuff. Like, I don't follow the opinions of other people just because, like, oh, he said that. No, I form my own opinion. And I use the eye test as well, what my eyes tell me. Like, when you watch football, you immediately understand what's happening on the football pitch, especially if you played it. Even if you just watch it, you already, like, we all as football fans, we understand what's happening on the pitch. So I use my eye test as well. And anyway, out of these three players, I think Lampard was probably a better finisher than Gerrard in terms of like getting into pockets and finishing chances in the penalty box, etc. And Scholes was better at controlling the tempo of the game. But that's where the comparison should end. I don't think there is nothing else that they are better than Gerrard at, like, besides those two things that I just named. If we look at, like, obviously I have already named the individual achievements, and Gerrard is on top of every single individual achievement except the Ballon d'Or, where Lampard finished second, he finished third. But anyway, like the rest, Gerrard is on top of every single individual achievement. Now, when we look using the eye test, the most versatile, the most complete, the guy who could play in 10 different positions, I can honestly right now play Gerrard as a centre back, as a right back, as a left back. I can't say the same for Scholes and for Lampard. Who could do more on the pitch? Gerrard could do more on the pitch. Gerrard, there was nothing he couldn't do on the football pitch. He could shoot, he could pass, he had good heading ability, he was good at set pieces. There was nothing Gerrard couldn't do on the pitch. He was almost the perfect player. Now, I already admitted the two things like Lampard and Scholes are better than Gerrard at, but those are the only two things I can think of, and those are the only two realistic things anyone can tell me Scholes and Lampard are better at. Now, some people will choose to use stats. Now, stats don't really tell the true story, and I can make an example right now for Chelsea fans. Most Chelsea fans will probably say that Hazard is a better player than Mo, but if I use stats, I can prove that Mo is better than Hazard, because Mo's worst season in goals is more than Hazard's best season in goals. But you tell us to use the eye test, so I tell you to do the same. Use the eye test. You can't just use stats to compare footballers, Once again, this is not boxing. It's not like, oh, he threw 3 punches and I threw 1 punch. It's not as simple as that. The Chelsea team was studded with stars. And Gerrard never really had any like amazing team. Like, anytime we had a semi-decent team, I think 08-09 we had a good team and we finished second, so we challenged for the league. And 13-14, obviously the Suarez season, or the slip season, he also challenged for the league. Now, Gerrard was also like, one thing I feel like, if right now someone came to me and tells me the fate of the universe is on the line, you need a midfielder to play with Xavi, Iniesta, or Iniesta, Zidane, or whoever. You need one midfielder to play with them. And it's a final, and the aliens are about to take over the earth, and we need to beat them. Who am I putting? I'm putting Steven Gerrard. And the reason I'm putting Steven Gerrard is because he's the man of the big moment. I have seen him personally drag my team out of the death. Honestly, the 2005 Champions League run, the goal against Olympiacos, we were about to get eliminated. If you look at there's literally a final called the Gerrard final, the 2006 FA Cup final against West Ham. Like, to anyone who hasn't even watched that, because I know some of you are young, you might not even have watched that game. If you go back and just watch the highlights on YouTube, you'll immediately see what I'm trying to tell you. The man was a man of big moments. Whenever Liverpool needed him most, he stepped up and he showed out. He carried the team on his back. There was nothing Gerrard couldn't do. If I use the individual achievements I read, Gerrard is the best out of the three. And if I use the eye test, also Gerrard is the best out of the three. And I won't penalize him for loyalty. The same way, if I'm comparing Kane and Lewandowski, I'm not going to use in like team trophies, because Lewandowski plays for Bayern and he's obviously going to win the league every year. So I can't just say, oh, Lewandowski won the league, Kane won nothing, comparison over. That's not how football works. You have to use your eyes and you have to use what the player has achieved individually. And I feel like, obviously, some of it you could say is my opinion, but the individual achievements obviously aren't my opinion. They are facts. Making the all-time Champions League XI, being nominated for the dream team of Ballon d'Or along with names like Pele, Maradona, Ronaldo, Messi, historic players, and being the record holder for the team of the year appearances, finishing third in a Ballon d'Or vote. Like, all these achievements put together, along with the eye test, the fact that Gerrard there was nothing he couldn't do on the football pitch, I think makes it crystal clear, except if you're biased and just be like, oh, I'm a United supporter, so it's Scholes, or oh, I'm a Chelsea supporter, so it's Lampard. This is not how football works. You need to be realistic. Everything I've told you regarding achievements is facts, and I feel like everything using the eye test is as well factual, because you can't really tell me there was something on the pitch that Gerrard couldn't do. He could do everything on the pitch, and he was the captain, obviously. Even if we talk about intangibles, he was the best out of the three. He showed up when it matters. So anyway, those are my opinions on the Gerrard-Lampard Scholes debate, which I don't even know why it's a debate, but anyway, I'm going to entertain you Chelsea and United fans. So these are my opinions. Me personally, if I had to rate them, obviously I'm going Gerrard first. Second, I'm going Frank Lampard, because Frank Lampard's output was insane. Like, he was probably the best goal scorer out of the three, and I think goals define matches. So I'd put Lampard second. And to be honest, a Gerrard-Lampard debate I could entertain, but I can't entertain a Scholes. I have no idea why Scholes is in this discussion anyway. So I'd put Scholes third. Though, like, that's my ranking, obviously. So obviously, I hope you enjoyed watching this. This is my first video. As you can tell, I'm just using my phone. Any constructive criticism is welcome. If you want to help by sharing, by liking, you can find me on Twitter as well. The link is in the video description. So thanks for watching and see you again.